I'm never betting against Iowa's punter. That man is insane. He should be at the Heisman.
Wade.
I'm Meyer.
I'm Tyler.
And this is the Totally Biased Sports Podcast. All right. So this is going to be the Week 12 preview show. And we're going to be talking about kind of all the games getting ready to come up, the people we think that are going to win, people we think that are going to lose. And we got 10 total. Now, I would like to say that we are actually keeping tally of who's winning and losing these games. Last week, Meyer went 6 out of his 10, so 6-4. Me and Tyler both went 5-5, despite my excellent pick of Washington over Oregon.
Yeah, don't worry, he won't be up there for long.
Round of applause for ourselves for all being at least 500. I mean, there we go.
Yeah. We did it. All right, well, you want to start us off, Tyler? Where we start?
I can list off these games for you guys. So remember, these are all picks against the spreads. There's not outright, because obviously some of these games are going to be pretty obvious, and that's just kind of inflate the ratings a bit. So
just like game number one.
Just like game number one. Ohio State University at Maryland. Ohio State. The Ohio State University at Maryland. Ohio State favored 27.5 on the road. All right, I'm going to start out with my pick. I think I got Ohio State. I mean, they killed Indiana just by a ton. Maryland's coming off a 30-0 loss to Penn State. So I think the 27.5, that's Ohio State covers that. Unless the weather's bad, unless there's some wind and then it might be a shooting.
Maryland, they're on the Atlantic. Maybe hurricane comes by. I mean, but no, I'll take Maryland just because I feel like Ohio State might take their foot off the gas towards the end. It's at Maryland. I mean, that probably won't matter much. I mean, they'll still probably get blown out, but I still think they'll keep it within 28 points.
I do like Ohio State quite a bit. I think they will win this game, and I don't think it will be particularly close. What I will say, I think Maryland is going to cover, based on the simple fact that I think that Ohio State kind of hasn't had a game where it's been close in the Big Ten yet, outside of Northwestern, which is just like, that's such a weird game because of all the weather and everything. The weather. But no, seriously,
DJ, what happened?
I'm going to pick Maryland to cover in this one. 27.5 is a lot. And I don't think Maryland's that bad of a team, despite getting shut out by Penn State last week.
All right, after those, we're on to game number 2, which is going to be Illinois at Michigan, with Michigan favored 18 points. Now, the big point of this game, can Illinois' defense stop Corum and just Michigan's pretty much just running game in total? I don't think so.
That's not a question. No,
that's not a question. That's the only thing Illinois got going for. But I think Michigan covers the 18-point spread, and I think that's just it, yeah.
Michigan might double that spread, honestly. I just don't see it being even remotely close at all. Yeah, I'll take Michigan minus 18. I would take Michigan if it was minus 30. Whew.
I will say, y'all are hating on the Illinois defense. That Illinois defense is not a bad group. Also, I think they have one of the leading rushers in all of NCAA.
I think he has the most rushing yards in NCAA.
They got some dudes, all right? Don't be hating on this Illinois team.
If it was anybody besides Michigan or Ohio State, I would give them credit, but I just don't see it with Michigan.
I was about to say, that being said, Michigan's going to cover. I like Blake Corum a lot. I think that I really do just think Michigan's going to be focused getting ready for this Ohio State week. I don't think they're going to kind of skip over the Illini.
All right, on to our third game. This one, the spread's a bit closer on this one. The game is more like contended, I would say. So we got Utah at Oregon. So obviously, big story coming off here. Oregon coming off their 3-point loss to Washington. Lots of questions there, Bo Nix, wow. No, Bo Nix played great. That was not an insult. That just slipped out. I'm sorry.
So used to saying it when he was in the SEC.
Yeah, so used to saying that. No, Bo Nix played great. The question was, if he plays that one drive, does Oregon win? Maybe. But he didn't, so they didn't win. And so Oregon's favored by 3 in this game. And so on one hand, you have Utah, who is USC's only loss. That 1 point, go for 2 at the end. I know you love that, Meyer. But I think Oregon bounces back. I said Bo Nix is going to have a great game last week, and I still think he did. And even though he's probably going to drop out of Heisman, the running, just because of the loss, I think Oregon covers the spread here.
I agree, especially, I think it might be close, but the spread of 3 is just a little too close for me to not take Oregon, especially because of that loss. They're going to have to bounce back from that, just out of respect for themselves, I guess. I just don't see Utah covering. If it was 7, I would take Utah, though.
I think Oregon's going to come off a little bit slow in this game. I think this loss against Washington is really actually going to affect them quite a bit. You look at kind of their rosters overall. They kind of do. They got a very good roster, right? Is it at Oregon?
Yes, it's at Oregon.
All right, so this makes this pick a little bit more painful. I'm still taking Utah. I think Utah's going to win outright. I just think Oregon's kind of. I kind of see them dialing out after the loss to Washington.
Do you think they just kind of give up now that they're out of the playoff?
Yeah, I think it certainly is possible, but I don't think this is a particularly terrible loss. I think Oregon still comes out and plays pretty good.
Yeah, Utah's a good team.
Utah's a good team, but the thing about it is I think Oregon's going to be in a bit of a lull early, and Utah's going to take an early lead, and then they're just never going to sacrifice it. I can see. I'll take points. I think we should start taking points in all these games. I just think it'd be fun. But yeah, I think I'm gonna pick Utah in this one. I'm gonna go 31-28.
Okay. So our next pick, we got TCU at Baylor. And I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. I'm gonna let you go first, Wade, for this.
Ooh, okay.
You want to be like Kirk Herbstreit here?
Yeah.
Man, I tell you what, I'm gonna take TCU in this one. I really, really think that the Horned Frogs are just ready. I think they're gonna seize the fact that they are a playoff contender. Now Baylor is certainly not their hardest test. It is at Baylor, but then again, Baylor played like garbage at home last week against Kansas State. Yeah, I think TCU covers this one.
I didn't mention TCU is favored by 3 points.
TCU's only favored by 3.
Yeah.
Hey, Baylor was favored by 3 last week and lost by 28.
Yeah, that's true. TCU I think takes this one though. I don't think it's particularly close. I think TCU wins this one maybe 28-6 kind of game.
Yeah, I could see that too, especially with this 31-3 from Kansas State. TCU had their toughest battle, I think, with Texas, and I think it's all downhill from here. If they think like that, though, I could see an upset brewing. They're too dialed in. They know they need to win out to have a chance at the college football playoff.
I will say, though, if that offense has a game like they had against Texas again, it might not be pretty.
Yeah, it's true. I don't think anybody's enough of a challenge in the Big 12 for TCU.
I just want to point out from last week, both of you switched up on TCU. You're riding the high horse. So I think I am going to do the same. And I'm going to pick Baylor in this game.
Oh, wow.
That's a wild pick, I know. But it's college football. Crazy things happen. And I'm looking to go above 500 this week. And you may say, well,
you got to differentiate yourself.
Picking games like this, big upsets, not a great way to go over 500. But sometimes you got to take a risk.
It's a great way to go under 500.
That's a great way to go under. My head is probably TCU carries it. Just carries through this game, but my heart is telling me Baylor. They felt disrespected, getting blown out by Kansas State at home.
I'd feel pretty disrespected too.
Yeah, and so they're gonna come out and they're gonna
play. The problem is that I don't think the Baylor players are feeling it in their hearts.
I think they are. I think they want to be the ones. The Big 12 loves nothing more than ruining its own chances of the playoff. Okay,
I'll be honest here. I think. Iowa State is TCU's last game, right? I think they pose a bigger threat than Baylor. Iowa State has an excellent defense. It's very good. They held Kansas State to 10. So I think if anybody beats TCU, it's in the championship game or it's Iowa State.
Like I said, this is not a likely pick, but I'm still picking it. I'm still feeling it.
Respect, all right. Respect.
All right. So the next game, we got Ole Miss at Arkansas, and I'm going to bring it back. I'll start us off here. Ole Miss favored 2.5, okay? And I think they covered that. They're coming off a tough loss at Bama. I think they played pretty well. I think they ran the ball pretty decently. They got exposed in the fact that they can't throw the ball.
They can't.
They can't throw the ball. But
their freshman running back is something special, though.
He's so good. He's so good.
If they only had a quarterback that could, take a ball and move it to the throwing position and then release it.
If you put either one, I know Jahmyr Gibbs is really good, but Quinshawn on Alabama or Bryce on Ole Miss, either one, both of those teams improve by at least one win.
Maybe even two.
Maybe undefeated.
Possibly. Yeah, so I got Ole Miss covering that. I think their running game, really solid. And I don't think Arkansas puts them in a position like Bama did where they have to throw the ball.
All right, look. Alabama, they're not the same. They're still a great team. So, if I were Ole Miss, I wouldn't be too upset. I mean, obviously, you would have liked to win that game, but you can't be too down on yourself for losing to an angry Nick Saban. So, I just don't think Arkansas... they've struggled all year since. They were top 10, but they've been on a downward spiral. So I just don't see Ole Miss losing, and I'll take them to cover as well.
That being said, I'm taking Arkansas.
Okay,
and I like the spread being small in this one because I think it's pretty indicative of how I think this game will go. Arkansas shut down that LSU offense that really ran the ball really well against Alabama. I think they do something similar here. I will say this is dependent on if KJ Jefferson plays, because if he doesn't play, I don't think Arkansas has a snowball's chance in hell. They looked like horrible on offense last week. Even though that backup came in and played a little bit better, but at the end of the day, I do like Arkansas in this game. Yeah, I think Arkansas can lock this one up. Look a little bit better, get a big dub for that kind of program, and finally get the beer truck a win. That's the big thing. That's the big thing.
It's not happening. All right, for our sixth game, we have SMU at Tulane. Tulane's favored by 3 in this. I think this will be a shootout. I think SMU knows how to put up points, and I think they are going to. Tulane coming off a loss to UCF. Yeah, I don't think they're going to come from that. I think SMU takes this.
Southern Methodist has an excellent offense, and I just don't. Tulane, they're a great group of 5 school, but so is SMU. And with such a small spread, and it likely being it's probably going to be whoever has the ball last. And I'll gamble with SMU here. I'll take SMU.
I might have written down SMU. I'm taking Tulane. Yeah, I just like Tulane, man. SMU's got a really good offense. Don't get me wrong, they are rolling, but it's at Tulane. That gets played, if I'm not mistaken, that does get played in the Saints Stadium, which is a really big place. And assuming people actually show up to Tulane games, which I'm not aware if they do, and I don't imagine they do.
Ruthless.
It's cold, man.
Well, it's Tulane. Got the green wave. God,
it's a sick mascot. What are you talking about? It's better than a tiger.
I just want to say, I want to see the Tulane Green Wave versus the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. That way we can have the battle of the colored weather phenomena.
Well, if science prevails, it'll be the hurricane, I feel like. There's no way a wave.
No, we're not worried about science. There's no hurricanes in Oklahoma.
In the middle between the dog and the elephant will win. But...
I don't know.
The reason I'm taking SMU here is because we saw last week with Tulane and UCF. If a team gets up early against Tulane, they should be able to hang on. Tulane, they can fight back, but we'll see. And SMU, obviously scoring 77 points earlier this season, they would be able to get out in front. So we'll see. But I'll take Southern Methodist here.
All right. So on to our 7th game, we got Florida at Vanderbilt, with Florida favored by 14.5 points. Now, again, we could go back to the Baylor pick, right? But I've got 2 reasons why I'm picking Vandy to cover. I'm not picking them outright. It'd be great if they did it. A successful Vanderbilt is something I want to see, right? But I got 2 things. First of all, Anthony Richardson had a good game last week. which means he won't have a good one this week. That's just how the season goes. Okay, he's gonna go a great, and then maybe like a bad, then like an all right, and then a great. It fluctuates. Okay, it's just an up and down, and I think he's not gonna have a good game. And I think Vandy's riding high after their last win, and I think they show up. Again, not saying they win outright, but it'd be great if they did. So I got Vandy to cover the spread.
Yeah, give me the Doors here. Tennessee and Vanderbilt actually have the same SEC winning streak with 1. So, I mean, Vanderbilt.
For that.
I'm sorry. But I mean, 15 points is a lot. Florida blew out South Carolina, but I mean, South Carolina is so inconsistent, as is Florida. So, I mean, if Florida plays well, I mean, if we get the Anthony Richardson that showed up to Tennessee, or the Anthony Richardson that showed up to Utah, like, I think Florida will cover it. But that's unlikely, I think. Give me Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I just think it all depends on, like, what side of the bed Anthony Richardson wakes up on the morning. Yeah. Like, maybe he flips a coin at breakfast and is like, oh, heads, I'm going to play great this game or something. But there's been, it's just
Stales out. I'll throw a couple picks here.
Yeah, we're playing USF. What's the worst that could happen, you know? Or Kentucky for that matter as well. How are you going to lose to Kentucky? And then if you go off how scoring works, right? If you just go off how scoring works, Vandy beats Kentucky, who beat Florida.
By a lot in the swamp.
Yeah, so if you ask me, that automatically means the Vanderbilt should win. And then I want someone to find like how Vanderbilt can be national champions. I think there's got to be some scores somewhere, right, that we can make Vandy national champion. That would just make me happy.
Those are my favorite. Like,
if there's some kind of forest fire or tornado that takes out the entire United States except for Nashville, Vanderbilt's in.
That's true.
Yeah.
Forget how Vanderbilt TSU.
All right, so this one's tough for me. I have Florida down to cover, but I think Vanderbilt's actually going to cover. I think Florida does win outright, but there's a big issue. I think Vanderbilt's kind of like win as like insane and like, oh my god, they're gonna be great now. They got momentum.
They are.
Clark Lee's actually a decent head coach. But with that being said, I don't really think that they're going to play great in this game, but I don't think Florida's going to play great in this game either. I think this is a TCU Texas level of unwatchability. Either that or it's such a bad game you just have to watch it. And so, I mean, I will take Vanderbilt to cover. I don't think they win, but I think this is
drinking the Kool-Aid? You're drinking the Vandy Kool-Aid?
A little bit, yeah.
Absolutely,
black and gold Kool-Aid.
I just think 14.5 is a lot. It's a lot for a Florida team that's been pretty inconsistent.
I mean, for all we know, Florida might even score. They might not even score 14.5.
Good point.
14.5 the over/under.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
All right, so our next game, 8th game. This is the last game before we have like our bias matchup and our main matchup, and this is going to be Iowa at Minnesota, with Minnesota favored by 2.5. Now, I'm taking Iowa in this game. I think Petrus has looked better towards the end of the season, and also, I'm never betting against Iowa's punter. That man is insane. He should be at the Heisman ceremony. He's like, if the Heisman is who is most important for a team, he should be there.
It's him and Bryce. They're the two most important for the team.
He's incredibly good. It's insane.
And you would think how often he gets to play that he might have a lot more slip. He's very consistently good.
Yeah, no. I've seen him like put like things inside the 5-yard line where he gives like good hang time and like waits to punt for where his hands team literally like catch the punt. Like he's like their offense is so bad. He punts so much and he's so consistent. And like I don't know if he has any like big flashy punts like Georgia's punter did against Tennessee, but he's just so consistent, pinning him inside the 5, the 20, the 5, the 10, that I think I'm never going to bet against him. So I got Iowa winning this game.
I'll take Iowa to cover. I mean, well, it's 2.5, so pretty much whoever you take to cover is probably going to win. But it's Minnesota -2. I'm going to take Iowa to cover just because their defense is so good. And Minnesota, they're iffy too. They're both probably second tier in the West. Or Purdue and Illinois, Iowa, Minnesota, they're all like right with each other. It's weird. Whoever has a good game wins pretty much. I doubt both of them will. But I'll take Iowa just because defense and special teams.
I feel like I've been on an island all day with these picks. I'm taking Minnesota because did y'all just forget like Iowa's offense cannot score points?
Hey, they put up
But their
30
defense can. Their defense can score points.
They had two safeties and a field goal against the South Dakota Jackrabbits.
Hey, they're number one FCS. All right, don't forget it.
Hey. Yeah, number one in the FCS.
Check that Purdue score from a few weeks back. That's like 31.
Hey, and Purdue's number one in the Big Ten West right now.
Yeah.
Big Ten West is a poverty division, though. Like, everybody in there is like...
Hey, that's still... Power 5 school, 31. What are you going to... I mean, that guy should be in the Heisman race. Petrus has been on fire. He's sitting... I can't even say that part with a straight face. Just give Iowa the Heisman this year, I think. They're important to me, and they're important to college football.
They're important to you. Okay. I'll make sure
that's what the Heisman voters care about.
What about this? Hey, I know CJ Stroud's had a great year.
This 18-year-old kid in Tennessee really thinks the whole Iowa team should get it.
This white boy with brown hair and brown eyes has really got an opinion that's going to change the world.
Hey, and just think about all the kids that would be happy to see Iowa win.
All the kids in Iowa?
Even though it's that many
30 people.
Are there even kids in Iowa? I thought that's where people go to retire.
That's where all the corn farmers live at.
It's Indiana.
Oh yeah, Indiana, the whole Midwest pretty much. The whole Midwest except like Indianapolis and Chicago.
This is a random rant, and this is like totally, completely off topic. But we need to get rid of stupid college football names. What is a Hoosier? Does anybody know what a Hoosier is?
Hoosier is similar to the Volunteers in that it's named after the nickname of the state. Like, Indiana's a Hoosier state. I don't know what a Hoosier is, though. I know what a Volunteer is.
I think that one's pretty obvious.
What is it? Yeah, how do you not know what a Hoosier is, dude? It's literally... let me see. It is definitely not Googling this, by the way.
No. Apparently, Governor Joseph Wright derived Hoosier from an Indian word for corn, huza, or a Native American word. So, it comes from the Native American word corn.
Well, it's just like the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Yeah.
The whole Big Ten, they named after corn.
And the Aggies, like that's another farmer.
There's a lot of Aggies, though.
Yeah.
Like, most of them are group of 5, but you got Texas A&M, Utah State, New Mexico State.
I never really thought about it, but I guess like Aggies is short for like agriculture, so like ag
farmers.
Yeah, that's why I didn't like throw that. I think that's where it comes from. It's like you know how ag is short for agriculture, so Aggies are just people that are involved in agriculture.
People are gonna click off when they hear you talking about agriculture and farmers.
I'm talking about college football mascots.
You know what else is a stupid name? The Sooners. Okay.
Okay, the Sooners is actually a funny name. So like I had one of my teachers from Oklahoma explain this to me. So like Sooners relate to the people. They would have like land, like you would have to like go far, right? And Sooners were the people that went early and just like cheated. Yeah. Like that's what a Sooner was. They were the people that left soon. Like early, they were the Sooners.
I love
here. Real quick, and then we can get back. I'll give you my top 5 favorite Power 5 nicknames.
All right.
I like, first of all, the Arkansas Razorbacks.
Razorbacks are solid.
Razorbacks are good.
I like the Rutgers Scarlet Knights.
That's
solid.
Penn State Nittany Lions.
That's
because it's Mountain Nittany and it's like a mountain. I don't know.
Mountain Lions, pretty basic.
It sounds, I don't know, because the Nittany just sounds cool.
It does sound cool.
Like if you go too far into depth, it's one of the not good ones, but still.
It sounds cool. Yeah.
Minnesota Golden Gophers. Okay. I mean, the Big Ten's kind of carrying us here. And then one more. Vanderbilt Commodores.
The Commodores is nice.
Well, it's after Cornelius Vanderbilt, Commodore in the Navy. I mean, yeah, there you go. So there we go.
Old Cornelius.
We got to do this. This is a segment.
I'd have to. Well, I'll get you mine next week. I'll get you mine for next week's preview show.
I'll get you mine right now. Number 5, I'm definitely doing the UAB. The UAB Dragons.
That's a solid name.
It's a great nickname.
The Targaryens, baby.
For real. I like the Rutgers pick. I'm going with Rutgers at 4. Maryland is very funny to me. They're just the Terrapins.
I like Terrapins sounds cool, but then it's like turtles. Like
I'm gonna have to go with my number 3 spot is definitely gonna be good old Louisiana Raging Cajun.
That one's a great one.
It's a good one.
That one's hilarious.
I only went Power 5. I should have expanded my horizons here.
Yeah.
It's fair.
Number two for me is gonna be the Fighting Illini because I think
That is a good one.
it is hilariously bad.
Yeah.
It's like
It is very funny.
we're gonna name this team in Texas. Okay, what should we name it? I know, the Texans.
I like the Fighting Irish Notre Dame.
The Fighting Irish. I do like the Fighting Irish. I will say that's probably my honorable mention. But my last one is definitely the Utah Utes because I don't know what a Ute is.
I assume it's some kind of Native American.
I'll give you a few of mine actually right now. I
go
think
for
Fighting
it.
Irish is solid just because Notre Dame's a Catholic school and like Irish Catholics, and that's just kind of funny. Not really like funny because it's Catholic, just because it kind of fits pretty well.
All right, religion shaming.
No, never. I will say the Scarlet Knights is sick. I think like I think some of the military schools have some cool ones. The midshipmen.
Midshipman is cool.
It sounds cool, and then you got like, oh, what's a midshipman? And you just like point to one of the ends of the end zone. That's a midshipman, or those are midshipmen. Right? Those are the people in the Navy, right?
If you don't know, I wish we had video. We're just giving Tyler the looks. Yes, that's what they are.
Yeah. So calm down. I'm just getting stared at like I was wrong. Like I did mention that I didn't think for some reason I just glossed over the fact that UCF was a group of 5 team at one point and thought they weren't. That was on me. I
cut that out. Now you're telling everybody.
No, I know. I'm coming clean. So yeah, I'd say those are two. The Golden Gophers, always solid. And then I'm gonna go something. I feel like it's really original. I don't hear it much. Like the Tigers.
Oh, which one?
All of them. I think.
See, I like Auburn Tigers. Not a big fan of LSU.
No. I think LSU. You're literally.
Or Clemson.
You're in Louisiana. You can definitely come up with some like cool Cajun name, like
Or Missouri.
The Fighting Bell Peppers or something. Like,
okay,
come on.
wow, that's bad. You could have been the Gumbo Jumbos or something.
Gumbo Jumbos and the Raging Cajuns.
Yeah.
They got to.
Or you could have been like the Guillotine because they're named after Louis.
You know what I do like? Okay, I will say this.
It's true.
The thing I do like is the teams are like War something. It just makes your name infinitely more cool. All right. Auburn's mascot is a War Eagle. ULM is the War Hawks.
Or Golden. If you put like a Golden in front of it too.
Yeah.
Too.
I feel like Golden could get a little over, but Golden Gophers is. I love Golden Gophers.
Absolutely. All right, we're gonna get back to the picks though. This is the preview show, not the mascot show. And so we've all picked our Iowa game, and now it's on to the bias game. You already know it's Tennessee at South Carolina. Spread Tennessee favored 21.5. I first had South Carolina down, right? I was like, I picked against UT last week. It turned out pretty good for us, so I might do it again. No, I'm believing in it. I think Joe Milton comes in the second half and scores 30.
Yeah, Heupel, he's going to go all out from the beginning. I could see similar to what happened. Their defense isn't in it at the very beginning, but their offense is. I think at halftime it might be like a 7 to 14 point game, but I think they'll definitely start pulling away. Joey in the fourth quarter.
Nothing better.
Final score 75 to 40. Yeah, I'm just kidding. But I will take Tennessee to cover.
I think South Carolina is going to cover this game. Tennessee is a pretty good when someone picks against them. But 21.5 is a lot of points. I think South Carolina is better than Missouri. My biggest concern is I thought Tennessee was going to be able to really capitalize off that loss last week and kind of have a lot of motivation going in at senior night. This is a 7 p.m. kick at South Carolina. I can see South Carolina maybe being up in this game, and Tennessee kind of coming back and having to fight through it. I think this is a closer one. My final score though, I'm going to go Tennessee 45, South Carolina 38.
I don't think that loss. I think that loss is still with them. I don't think Heupel's going to be like, oh, we're back, baby. No, I think that loss is sticking with them. They know they have to be perfect. They have to destroy some people, ramp up the style points. And what you can be like, you can even play like the excuse card of like, oh, we put our backup QB in who's better than like, let's say Kentucky's QB. So like, I think we're going to ramp up the score. I think we're going to win out big. And so for our last game, and you might think this might be the game day game, No, we're not even picking that game. We're picking, it's USC at UCLA.
We don't pick FCS, sorry.
No, it's USC at UCLA. USC is favored by 2.5. So pretty much whoever you pick on the spread, who you pick to win the game, unless it's like USC does tend to lose by 1. So I got USC winning this game. I think Caleb Williams is going to show out. As much as I'd want UCLA to win as a Tennessee fan, just to knock another contender off, I don't think it's going to happen here.
I don't know. UCLA, it's like tough. They both have looked bad during times, and they both look like top 5 teams in the country at some times. I just think UCLA is due for a win, especially after that tough loss. And USC, their running back got hurt pretty bad, so prayers up for him. I just don't think I don't know if they can hold on. I'll take UCLA, but I could see it going either way.
I see this one going either way as well. UCLA is such a weird football team because Dorian Thompson-Robinson, I think, has been playing in college football since 2015, I believe.
We have no room to talk about people playing in college football for a long time, especially at the QB position. Okay,
that is fair. But with that being said, also Jacques Charbonnet has been there for forever. I think their current leading receiver is like Jack Bobo, which is a fantastic name. I just want to get that out there. But also, I think that UCLA tends to kind of show up in this game. Whether or not they beat USC is something I'm unsure of, honestly. This game is a coin toss, in my opinion. Pick whoever you want to pick, because this is a heated rivalry. It always is, and it is one of those games. I think that USC might come out hot at the very beginning, but I think UCLA finds a way to win this one, honestly. And I'm not just saying that for Tennessee's playoff hopes. I actually do genuinely like UCLA quite a bit in this one. They match up pretty well with that USC team, too. So, I think the final score I'll pick, I'm going to go... I think I'm going to go USC 24, UCLA 28.
I like it. All right, I'm gonna throw in one last bonus point. If you get it wrong, nothing changes. If you get it right, you get a point added. All right, who has more? Joe Milton touchdowns or Spencer Rattler interceptions?
Wow, that's a tricky one. Gosh, that's
up and hardest questions in the college football.
That's a very difficult question, because on one hand you could say, oh, Spencer Rattler plays a pretty clean game. He just doesn't hit any passes. Joe comes in and just starts slamming him. Or you can say he plays a pretty bad game and Joe comes in and starts slamming him. So I think Joe Milton, I've been high on him. I'm going to stay high on him. Joe Milton throws more touchdown passes than Spencer Rattler has interceptions.
See, this is tough because if Spencer Rattler plays a great game, he doesn't have many interceptions, but that means Milton's probably not playing.
Well, he's still haven't won.
What if it's 0-0? What if it's 0-0? What if it's 0-0?
0-0, no point for anybody.
No point for anyone. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'll go ahead and take Milton because I feel like I'll take Milton.
I'm going to be a bit of a gamer here.
Why the hell not?
I'm going to be a little bit of a gamer here. I'm going to take Rattler to throw for more interceptions because. Yeah, I think there's a pretty good likelihood Joe Milton might not even get in this game because they may be trying to kind of sort of pump up Hendon Hooker's stats, get him the Heisman, because Tennessee's never had a Heisman Trophy winner, even though they definitely should.
Still haven't forgotten.
I haven't forgotten, okay? I know who you are, Charles Woodson. I think most people do, but anyway.
It's a fair statement. Most people do know who Charles Woodson is.
All right, folks, that's all we're going to have for you this week. It's been a great show. Hopefully, y'all are willing to tune in next week as we talk about the results of this exciting week of college football. Big week for the Pac-12.
And tune in to the Week 12 review show when you get to hear my victory lap segment after winning this week's picks.
Well, see, I would say that, but obviously he's not going to get that victory lap segment.
Now, are we doing who's leading cumulative or
no?
Just that week.
Just that week.
Okay.
Just that week.
Because, I mean, it would be unfair for you.
I might not ever see it again.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
All right, guys. It's been a great show. Y'all have a good rest of y'all's day. Go Vols.
Go Vols.
Go Vols.